I just want to chill out a little bit tonight and talk about what makes people say some of the shit that they say, to other people. Antagonizing type of bullying, belittling people, making fun of people, and all that kind of bullshit. And this is directed to both those previously described assholes that would talk to people that way, and any of you poor guys out there or gals that are subjected or have been subjected to that kind of abuse. And yeah, I can hear some people now. That's not the end of the world. It'll toughen you up. It's all this. Yeah, sure, it will. Of course, it will. But toughen me up, But it still hurts when you're in the throes of it. When you're really feeling it. See, I'm beyond that. I ain't feeling it. I don't feel it. And it's not even applicable, and it's not even valid, and I know that. So it takes all the punch out of it. It doesn't hold any. There's no bang in it. It doesn't hold any potential effect, really. It's just paper tiger shit, completely empty, barren, devoid, without shape. Nothing to support it underneath, But for regular people that are in the throes of it, going through that kind of bullshit, that are being bullied or being, and I'm not talking about just, in this case, I'm not referring to physical manifestations of that would be described as bullying. I don't mean like, people are physically interacting with you in a negative way. I'm talking about just saying shit to you, or calling you names, or just picking you on you, just tormenting you, making fun of you. I know there's a lot of kids out there today, and this is a different society that you're growing up in. And I'm sure, I have no doubt, with the advent of the internet and all this horse shit and social media and how everybody is just, everybody's right there, and as soon as one thing is said or put out there or whatever, it's just like nuclear, fission. It's just goes out there and touches everybody almost instantly, But so I'm sure it's a lot worse than like in my day. So even though it's to a lot of us older guys, like cyberbullying shit seems like it's completely empty, threatless, and it's nothing. Today, our society is different, and a lot of self-worth and value and a lot of time in life is spent and occupied, for better or worse, social media. Everybody's into social media more than me. Kids are into it more than I'm into it, and I've got this YouTube channel. So with it being that important and that much of a social underpinning in playing that a large role in the lives of some younger folks and people, then yeah, I can very easily imagine and see how damaging that could be to someone, or how injurious it could be to someone. But I'm here to tell you that the people that are throwing all this shit out there, lobbing all the spears at you and the arrows, they have problems, man. It's almost 2 to 1. It's most almost every case. It's the percentage would be so high. The people that treat people that way, they are outwardly projecting something that they can't stand within themselves. There's something in them that's missing. There's something in them that they recognize as ugly. There's something in them that they know is wrong. And rather than confront that and internalize it and figure out what's with me, I can't go on like this my rest of my life, so maybe I should address this as early as possible and begin to find a better way, find my way through it. Rather than do that, instead they project. They project and they overcompensate. It's classic. And so they're going to, single out somebody, anybody. And normally if somebody's already singled you out, then there are going to be other people jump on the bandwagon, these second-rate bullies that they may not be the initial progenitor of the negative behavior that's directed towards you, but they're right there waiting for somebody else to say it's okay, that, this is somebody that should be talked to that way or bullied or treated that way. There's something wrong with this person. And then they, in an even more cowardly manner than the initial progenitor, then they kind of link their caboose to that engine and jump in there and get some of that for themselves, because they want to be somebody and they want to be something. And why? Because they feel inept. They feel inept. So, I'm not coming at you from such an enlightened angle that I'm asking you to forgive these people and to feel sorry for these people that are bullying you or tormenting you or calling you names or whatever the case may be. I'm not asking you to feel what they're going through and understand that they're the one that really has the problem and all, because I know that doesn't do jack shit for making you feel better right now. It doesn't really solve your problem. So I'm not going to assault you by telling you, be the bigger person and understand that they're the ones with the problem. But the truth remains the truth, no matter how you slice it. Truth is truth. And they are the people with the problem. Pretty much I would just say that to find your own self-worth and your own value internally, and to take a good look at the caliber, the morality, the quality from a humane and human standpoint in these people that might treat you that way. Is it really something that you would want them to approve of you then, if they're already showing you their hand? That basically they're right now. Anybody can change. Maybe somebody different later on. Right now, they're basically a piece of shit. Why? What do you do if you step in a pile of shit? You got to clean it. It's inconvenient. That's about all it is. You got to get it off your shoe. It's aggravating. It's a problem, but you wipe it off and you move on. You don't want to track it in the house. You don't want to carry it around with you. You want to let it go. You want to rid yourself of it as soon as possible. You don't want that stink following you around. You don't want it coming and fouling your floors in your home or your carpet or anything, or climbing in and out of your car with it, right? So, it's the same thing, man. Somebody like that, don't let that inside of you to the degree that you're going to walk away from that and you're going to carry that with you and you're going to walk around feeling that. It's, an event like that happens, try, and I know this doesn't really necessarily help, but try to understand that they're showing you right then and there that right now they aren't there yet, that they are lagging far behind developmentally, and that's not somebody that they're already letting you know that they are not someone that you need to seek out approval from. You should never ground or connect or attach your feelings of self-worth or self-value or to shit like that. So having said that, it makes common sense, right? Okay, so then that means you need to find someplace else to find your self-worth. That's what that means. That's what that means. So if you have issues like that you feel, incomplete, or you feel inadequate, or your esteem isn't what it should be, your self-esteem, look for other places. Because you're looking in the wrong place then if these people are, you don't need their approval, High school and school, and when you're caught up in it, it seems like it is your life, and it is your social circle. They're your peers, for better or worse, your contemporaries. But that shit's going to go away. And it'll pass and it'll be over much more quickly than you think it will be. Much more. And I swear to you, you'll look back and later on, and you may have some bitter feelings, still hard feelings, but you'll see that it did pass. I'm telling you the truth, rather quickly, and you'll have your whole life ahead of you. And you, for the most part, are not going to see these same people again, very much, if at all, very, very infrequently, if at all. You generally usually don't, because if this is what they are, I'll tell you, personally, me, the coolest guys in like, when I was in like middle school, which was junior high back then, it wasn't, back then today I think, what is it, it's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Well, when I was around back in then, those days, it was called junior high, and it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, but it ain't the same, close enough. But the coolest guys, the cool guys that everybody wanted to be like, or everybody looked to see what are they going to say next, or what are they going to do. Those guys really, the funny thing about that is that later on, they turned out to be just a phantom. Just everything that was there that put them on whatever small pedestal that was at that given time was unsubstantiated and later just completely evaporated. Even the illusion, and you run into some of these people throughout my life when I've run into any of these people, that would have badmouthed me or tormented me or picked on me or, it's, I was no cool kid initially, I had some liabilities to work through. I was scared of everything, had low self-esteem, couldn't look people in the eye, walked around counting cracks in the sidewalk. I was paralyzed from the waist down when I was born. So I went through all kinds of therapies and all kinds of other things. My spine was so crooked and it had some kind of an impingement. And as my spine straightened, as I grew, the impingement lessened and lessened and lessened, but it was always just a borderline of requiring more drastic measures. I barely skated by every time when I would return to Kearney's Children's Hospital, and they would look at it and measure it and want to see how many degrees, and they're looking for a certain amount of progress. And if it was close enough, they would, like judgment call it, and I would skate by without having the next more offensive infringement upon my social standing, because I went from the cast when I was really small and learned how to bounce myself on them, and and you gotta understand that we're talking 60s, early 60s. So a lot of the medicine, in these relatively smaller hospitals compared to what's out there today, they didn't always have explanations for everything, medicine is feeling their way through and learning a lot of it. It's not like it's an exact science. That's why they have a license to practice it. And, I don't even know to this day exactly how, what, where, why. I know that Dr. Diamond, she was my pediatric doctor when I was a child. I know she fell to her knees and cried the first time she saw me walk at all. And I didn't look like I was, walking really very well, but, and proclaimed that it had to be a miracle. But whatever, not that I'm making light of it, but, I had the Forrest Gump leg braces next. And I almost got the back brace. You can imagine that. Throw a back brace in there on top of that, and now also have a patch over one eye. Yeah. Not the most popular kid on the block. Not on the top of everybody's list for invitations to parties. Like, oh, well, we got to have him there. Maybe for amusement purposes, I don't know. I'm sorry enough to say, back then I wouldn't have thought that was funny at all. But So a lot of people picked on me, and then he put hands on you back in the day. I mean, it wasn't cyberbullying. It wasn't any cyber anything. We didn't even know what the fuck that word was. But we had, one guy one time I remember told me, he said, "You're so scrawny and sickly that I could take my fist and hit you in the chest as hard as I could and probably cave your whole chest in." How are you supposed to respond to that? As a little boy. And there was another guy who always called me Double Barrel because I had these really super thick glasses, looked like a damn bullfrog peeping through the ice. But it was because I had this lazy eye. And then there's another point where they believed my eyes. I was going through some kind of ocular degeneration, and whatever. Lo and behold, eventually, I did end up with 20/20 vision, which is not like supervision, but it's damn good. I don't think I have that today by any means, but I'm grateful for what I had when I had it. But the whole point is, and that you could count all my ribs and every vertebrae in my back, I got picked on. I got pushed around physically, tripped in the hall, smacked in the side of the head, and chased. And as you can imagine, I'm not the fastest guy. It's not like I'm some kind of gazelle, like really. All right, legs like I had initially. So the whole point being is, it was a huge impediment in my life, in my young social life. I was full of angst and depression and turmoil and everything else living through that. But to bring it back home and how it might relate to you, some of the worst offenders at that time to me, they were most transgressive toward me. I got beat up and shit. So they used to beat on you. It wasn't like it was just, name calling and shit. I did things about it. I found my way through it. It might not have been everybody's solution, but it was a damn effective solution for me. But whenever I have run into any of these people later, as we got older, began to get older and grow up a little, they really weren't the cool guy anymore, the cool kid anymore. And all of a sudden they were like so much bigger than me before, and they like stopped growing. And no shit, it's like they just didn't get any taller. Like they peaked so early, and I was shorter, and then you run into them, and now I'm taller than they are, and they're not looking so good. And then, God forbid, if I see any of these folks, like anytime and since I've been an adult, my God, they're almost unrecognizable. Like a hunchback of Notre Dame, shit like that. Life's already all busted them, broken them down, and, no. And then you can imagine now, the same age as me. Actually, a year older, because I was progressed a year, so I was a year younger than everybody in my class, and then I was smaller than everybody my age, so kids a year older than me, when I'm that young, were a lot bigger than me. So I had my own solution. I found my way through. It was quite effective. Like I say, it worked. I don't know that it was everybody's cup of tea and that it would work for everybody. I think it would work for everybody, but I don't know that it's the best choice for everybody. But it was a very practical choice for me. But the point being, at the end of the day, it won't mean anything anymore. It won't amount to shit. It won't amount to anything, man. The only reason this comes into my mind to even make a video about this right this second, I've made videos like this previously, but, Brent, the BMG himself over at Armed and All Heart, how much this guy gives of himself to help people, to help kids that are at risk, and he does a lot. And he's a really good dude. And he was clearly, I get it, I've heard enough of the story, from him. Well, we all have if you watch his videos. And I get it. He was picked on. He was bullied, called names, made fun of. We all were, or a lot of us were. But now, let that shit go, man. Let those wounds heal. Because hopefully you can see that, just like I said, that shit's without merit, and there's no founding for any of it. It's just like floating in the air, unsupported and unsubstantiated, and just some kind of an ethereal fairy tale fantasy thing, twisted fantasy that doesn't have any actual grounding in reality. It's just nonsense. Nonsense. So if you're out there and you're bullied, you're picked on, whatever, and you need somebody to talk to, you can always reach out. You can talk to me. You can contact Brent. You can talk to Brent. You can email me and talk about it anytime. But, of course, I'm far, far beyond my own personal experience. I mean, it is just factually is what it was, and but beyond that, the wellspring which my self-esteem flows from is untouchable, and especially so, even more so untouchable by anybody that doesn't hold merit in my world or my life, that I don't afford validity to. Like I've said before, if I go outside and sit down, it's a nice sunny day, I'm enjoying the day, the sun shines warming my skin, and I'm having a good afternoon, and I'm chilling, and I'm just happy, and there's a gentle breeze in my little bit of hair, and I can smell the flowers carried on the breeze. Maybe I can hear the wildlife around me, and I'm watching chipmunks and squirrels and birds, and maybe there's even a deer comes down into the back occasionally. Jane Doe, none other. We haven't seen her for a while, but she used to come down and hang out around the garden a bit. If I'm sitting there and I'm in my element and I'm happy and I'm at peace, but I'm hearing some kind of scrabble, some kind of contentiousness, some kind of shit talking, and I can barely make it out. So I have to kind of blur everything else and that's good and focus in to hear that, and focus on it to try and hear it and pull that out so that I can make something out of it. And I hear somebody talking, a lot of noise to me. You big ugly mother effer, I'll kick your ass, you ain't shit, and I'm wondering what the hell. I look down and I see a little tiny fly on a pile of shit in the yard. And he's shaking his little fly fist. And he's talking all kind of smack to me, talking all kind of death and every other thing, selling me all kind of tickets. Do you think that I'm going to focus on that for very long? Do you think I'm going to afford that any validity? You know what I mean? It's a fly. He's all by himself. Little itty bitty fly. He's all by himself on that pile of shit over there. So you know what that means? That means he's living large. Because that's probably as good as it's ever going to get for him. That poor bastard has his own pile of shit all to himself right now, and there ain't no other fly trying to get any of it. So let him be. Sure, I could swat him effortlessly. It ain't even worth that. I can just blur him out because all the beauty around me, surrounding me, drowns it out anyway. But, our shirts, right? Gorilla with a cause. The backs of them, they all no bystander, right? No bystander. So What does that mean? Well, it means whatever it means to whoever is wearing it. But what it means should mean to others out there that if it's applicable and if you need a friend or you need somebody to talk to or you don't feel safe or you feel uncomfortable or awkward or if you see that, then that's somebody that knows why they have that shirt on or they wouldn't be wearing it. And it's an open invitation and that's a friend. You can talk to that person. You can approach that person. For real. Because we're here to look out for each other. And that's what we have to do. And it also means that, to me, that should an injustice occur within my auspice, that at the very minimum, to each person's comfort level as it applies to other people, wearing this shirt, pronouncing to society that they are not a bystander, that they are engaged, their blinders are removed. That means that I'm a participant and I will, like I said, we all agree, we will, to each's comfort level, to decry this behavior, this injustice, and to speak up and say, hey, that's not right. You shouldn't talk to the person that way, or you can't treat that person like that. It's not fair. It's not good. It's not right. That you don't just walk on by like you didn't hear it or ignore it like you didn't see it, because then you would be a what? You would be a bystander. And we already have too many bystanders. That's why we are no bystanders. No bystander. And when people make remarks, about like somebody like Brent, some guileless, really decent and good human being like that has come so far, and somebody actually has to sit there and think something negative and then take the time to type it down like anybody gives a rat's ass that you need to say that and anybody welcomes hearing it or reading it. That just says your life must be so empty and barren and devoid of any worth and value. You have nothing better to do with your time, and time is like something you can't even purchase. When you're out of time, you're out of time. And you better get that through your head and grasp onto an understanding of that before you are out of time and before so much slips away from you that you're kicking yourself in the ass all the way to the bitter end. Life's a lot better if you realize this a lot earlier on. Like I said, no bystander. And that shit can be tested, I'm telling you. Me and mine, yeah, it's real. That's it for now. You guys take care for whatever it's worth. We all got to look out for each other. That's really what it comes down to, man. We look out for each other. Have a good night.